welcome to Nugg Talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nugg Talk, a weekly podcast where we talk about everything going on in the NBA, and more specifically, everything going on with your Denver Nuggets. I am once again your host, Loki, and with me, once again, I have my co-host, Philly P. We's here. What's up?
What's up?
We just chilling. The NBA's back. We actually have news. It's awesome.
Yeah, finally.
Preseason's getting going. Everything's happening. Training camps, media day happened for us. Nothing really came out of that, but there's some stuff we need to talk about later about that. But the NBA is back. It's finally here. Preseason games start this upcoming week. Some of them have already started. The Rockets have played a few and things like that. So it's back. So we're ready to go. We got a few things to talk about, so it's going to be a jam-packed podcast. So let's just get into it. The main thing that we want to talk about first is something that's pretty cool and pretty important. Actually, it might change the landscape of the NBA in the future, depending on a lot of federal government stuff, but we won't get into the politics of everything. But California changed their rules. They passed a law where college players will now get sufficiently paid for their likeness and everything that they do for their universities. What do you think about that?
Just in California?
Yeah, it's just in California.
Weird, but cool.
It's just in California. LeBron, even though we give him a lot of shit on this podcast, he is a very good person because he was actually one of the main focal points to push this. They even signed the bill on Uninterrupted on a show and things like that. He was pushing it very hard, so yeah, he was the main focal point of pushing this, and it finally got signed in California. So it's only legal for California universities, which is unfortunate because it probably will really help them out with recruiting. So if you're a college fan, it might suck for you if you're not like a California team college fan, but it is good for the players. So what do you think about it?
I mean, I think that's awesome. That's kind of overdue. I like LeBron. I just don't like Laker LeBron. LeBron's a good person. I know that.
He's a good person. Yeah, Laker LeBron is not great, but it's fine. But yeah, so they passed that. It's Fair Pay to Play Act is what it's called. California lets college athletes earn money. Now, the full overall details, I don't want to really get into it. Just know that they will now get compensated fairly for the most part for what they get paid. I don't know how it works depending on everything, like specific players. Like if you're a Zion, will you get paid more than if you're someone else? I don't know all the specifics. All I do know is that they will get paid now, at least in California, which is good. But then this also brings up the debate of should the NBA change their age limit back to 18, or take it away from being 21 to 18, or at least 1 year of college back to you can
get rid of one and done.
Yeah, get rid of one and done, so you can enter in high school again like LeBron did, and before players like that. That comes up into debate. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's where it's heading. I think that's going to happen soon. I think the NCAA has kind of, it's the NCAA, so it's not exactly known for treating their players well.
No, it's pretty corrupt, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the NBA eventually, if not soon, then eventually it will, they'll kind of sever ties with the NCAA and just allow players with NBA talent to just come right into the league.
It is interesting.
If they so choose.
Yeah, it's interesting what they do. I don't know. This might actually change it so they don't do it, but it depends on how it goes in California, things like that. I know that most of the backlash, or at least most of the people against allowing high school players to actually come into the NBA, comes from two camps, really. The NCAA, obviously, for one part, because they did lose out on LeBron Mania and things like that, and that's why it kind of mainly started in the first place. And then also, it actually comes from current NBA players, more veterans, NBA PA. They actually push against it because most of their players do not want to lose their jobs. Because if you allow more high school players to get in, that increases the draft pool, increases the likelihood of undrafted players who are very talented, who could also get into training camps and then take jobs from veterans. So that is another reason why It hasn't been passed in a while. It's actually more backlash from NBA players because they want to keep their jobs and they don't want to lose it to high schoolers or more college players. But I do think it's cool that this happened. I don't know how far it will go, if other states will take this act and things like that. I do feel like if it does start helping with recruiting, I wouldn't be shocked if some states do start voting on this and passing this law. Like I could totally see, like, if it starts affecting college football and things like that, I would not be surprised if the southern states started to pass this so they could play the players. Because for the most part, I feel like most of these players are getting paid under the table anyways.
Yeah.
But we don't know until like a few years down. But yeah, you should pay your student athletes.
Yes.
That's what we should say.
Student athletes.
Your student athletes. Oh, sir, that's a good one. That's a great South Park episode. But yeah, so that was big news. Good job for LeBron. He's a good person. He's a good humanitarian entrepreneur. But right now, as a basketball player, we're not a fan of LeBron. But good job on him for that. So we can at least credit him for helping pass this law. And now we'll get back more into NBA news. So just some small NBA news and just some fun things that happened before we get into like preseason action, and bigger NBA news, and then also Nuggets news. So one small thing that came up is, surprisingly, there was a report that D'Angelo Russell is actually a part of the Warriors' long-term future for right now. That was what the report said, that he is in their plans for their long-term future. What did you think about that?
I think they say that, but it really depends on how it all meshes when Clay is healthy.
True.
I don't know. That team is still kind of just like, they're a big question mark.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting along with everyone. He practices with Steph Curry every fucking day. So, I mean, that obviously helps. Where the issue comes is obviously on the defensive side, because Steph Curry can't guard anyone and D'Angelo Russell is even worse.
Yeah, they're both terrible at defense. And any of you Warrior fans out there, don't deny it, because Steph is bad at defense.
Steph is bad defense. He's good at steals, but he's bad defense. Same issue with Jokic. Jokic is good at steals, but he's bad at defense.
Yep.
But yeah, I was surprised to hear that news. I don't know how much of it really has 100% truth behind it and things like that. But it is interesting to get that information that he is, as of right now, in their long-term plans. As you said, yeah, it does depend on the mesh, how it fits, things like that when Clay gets back too. But for the most part, it looks like they're all getting along really well. Draymond likes him, Clay likes him, Steph likes him. So I just don't know if Clay does come back, do they do a really small lineup of him, Steph, D'Angelo Russell, Clay, Draymond? Like, that'd just be a really small lineup. I don't know what they would do there, but we'll see what they do. We'll see how it goes. Because even their center, he's not that big. Willie Cauley-Stein's not a big center, so I feel like that would
small lineup.
Yeah, it's a small lineup. Like, he's a big guy. He's a tall guy, but he's not hefty.
Who are they gonna start at 3
right now?
Yeah.
Alfonso McKinney? I don't know. I have no clue. I'm not a Warrior fan.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird.
Here, I can look up Warriors roster. I think Alfonso McKinney, but I'm not sure. Maybe Kayvon Looney. Maybe Glenn Robinson III. I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll see how that team formulates.
Yeah, so for right now, they don't have a small forward. So maybe that's why they'll also keep D'Angelo Russell, because Clay would be their best option as small forward as of right now. And he could play small forward. He's a great defender, so it's not like he couldn't do that. But yeah, so there's that news. Just small NBA news there. LeBron, he's going to be playing point guard, as was reported, but AD is reportedly going to play at the 5 position. It's not really a big deal there, but it's just some news to know of. Anthony Davis at the 5 is just gonna suck for Jokic. That's all I have to say about that. What do you have to add on that?
Yep, same. It's gonna be tough to guard. That team's gonna be a tough matchup for us, unfortunately, but. Yeah,
Gary guards LeBron decently. It's still hard.
I think we can beat any team in the West except for probably the Lakers and the Clippers.
The Rockets. We never beat the Rockets. When do you not realize this?
Well, we'll see what happens. The Rockets I was skeptical of, but Harden makes things difficult.
If the Rockets have Clint Capella, we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Clint Capella is impossible for Jokic to guard.
I really thought they were going to trade him, and they never did.
Well, they got Russell Westbrook, so that changed their plans, obviously. But yeah, so there's just small news there. That's the small news for the most part. Now we can get into just some more lighthearted, fun news. Damian Lillard and Shaquille O'Neal got into diss tracks. I thought it was really funny. What are your thoughts on the diss tracks? Have you heard them?
Yeah, I've heard some of them. I think it's funny, but also I think it's really stupid. And like,
who do you think won?
Shaq.
Yeah, I think Shaq won.
Dame's trying too hard. And all Shaq has to do is just say, you haven't won anything in his raps, and then he just wins automatically. So,
like, Damian Lillard, I think, is a better rapper.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a better rapper.
But I think Shaq's diss track was better.
Shaq is more savage, and it doesn't matter if he's good at rapping or not. He's not, but...
I like Shaq's disses more. I like the fact that he was like, you'll never be Curry or Westbrook. I like the fact that he's like, you never won anything and you never will. Those are like good disses. Whereas Damian's weren't like, they were disses, but it was like stuff that's either not really true or like Shaq has already admitted to.
Yeah.
Like him saying that Kobe won those rings. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. Shaq won Kobe those rings.
Shaq won Kobe those rings. Shaq was killer in those finals. Kobe did good in the Indiana finals, but that was it for the most part. That's the only one that you could debate maybe Kobe helped win. But for the most part, no, Shaq won those. And then the other main diss they had was you needed Flash to carry you, which is referring to Dwayne Wade. But he admitted that Dwayne Wade won that championship for him many times.
Old. He was pretty old at that point.
He was old and fat at that point. Like, he was getting out of his prime at that point. So I don't think they're as hard as this, but I do admit that Damian Lillard is a better rapper. I just think this whole situation is very hilarious, and I'm glad that it happened. But yeah, that's all that for that. Other funny news was Jimmy Butler is slowly becoming one of my favorite players in the league again.
Yeah, he's so funny. Oh my gosh.
He's fucking hilarious. For those of you that don't know, there was, for some reason, a random clip. I don't know where he was. It was like maybe a fan event or something like that. He took a really long time to come out. And the guy was like, why did you take so fucking long? He's like, I was taking a fucking shower. He's like, so? He's like, what? I can't clean my fucking ass or something? And I found that hilarious.
Did you see the new one today?
Yeah, the new one where he's like, y'all fuckers can't be out of school right now or something like that.
He's like, go to school.
He's like, there's no fucking way y'all are not in class right now.
It's so funny.
He's amazing. And then even on like the media day for the Heat, they posted some clips of him, and it's just hilarious. Like, he's eating strawberries, and then he's just roasting Justice Winslow, things like that. Like, he's slowly becoming one of my favorite players again.
He's having fun, which is cool. And he did something that a lot of players aren't doing anymore, just kind of going to a place, not teaming up, you know?
Yeah, but we already said he just wants to be Dwayne Wade.
Well, yeah. But that's okay. Go be Dwayne Wade. It's fine. That'll be a fun team to watch. I'm excited to watch that team.
It will be a fun team to watch. A lot of people are really high on that team. I don't know why. If they get CP3, sure, then I'll be high on that team. But that's still all in flux because CP3, for some reason, shockingly, is still in Oklahoma. And I don't know why. But yeah, that was just the funny things for this week, and I thought they were freaking hilarious. If Shaq responds to Damian Lillard again, I think it'd be hilarious, but he does not have to because he definitely won that. So, and then into more serious news again, we're going to get back into that. So other things going on in the NBA, like I said, preseason's back. People are playing games, preseason action's happening. Our first game is October 8th. Right?
Yes, this Tuesday.
It's this Tuesday against the Trailblazers, luckily on ESPN,
so we can actually watch it.
But otherwise, the other teams that have played so far are the Pacers and Kings. They played in India today, which we'll get to later. The Rockets have played a couple games, one against like a Chinese team and another one against the Clippers. Russell Westbrook did not play in that game. Paul George did not play in that game. And I don't think Kawhi Leonard played in that game. It was just James Harden for big stars who played in those preseason action. And then more and more are coming with the days on. But for the Rockets one, some interesting things happened. First off, we can talk about this. What do you think about James Harden actually doing that stupid one-legged three-pointer?
I mean, I hope he does it throughout the
season. It's
so
dumb.
Because if he does that throughout the season, his teammates are going to hate him. Except
He's
for Russell
not
Westbrook,
made
obviously.
He's taken it like 4 times. He's not made a single one.
I hope he keeps trying because he's never going to make those consistently.
It's a terrible shot. Why is he doing that? It makes no sense. Just do your regular step back. Like, why are you doing this one-footed thing?
He thinks he's better than he is, and he's great. That's what's kind of crazy about this, is he's like the best shooting guard in the NBA, and he's doing some stupid-ass shit.
He just wants to be like a creator. That's what he said. He's like, I'm not traveling. I'm a creator, and people can't accept that. I'm like, this looks stupid. Like, I'm sorry, he just looks dumb. I don't like the one-legged three-pointer. Like, maybe in pickup games, sure, at fucking Chris Brickley's thing. Not in the NBA.
I feel like, who's the coach? D'Antoni?
Yeah, D'Antoni's the
D'Antoni should kill him if he ever tries that in a real game.
But he keeps doing it. He's going to do it in a real game. He's going to do it a lot. It's going to be annoying.
If he makes it, then fine, but he's not going to make it.
Maybe I feel like part of it also is because he wants to start drawing fouls on three-pointers. And now he can draw fouls because it's technically not a kick out if your knee's out. And if they run into your knee, it'll be a foul. I feel like that's what he's trying to do. I feel like he's trying to get more free throw attempts for three-point shots. Which, if that's the case, Jesus Christ, this guy is like innovative, but I hate him.
I really hate that a lot. Did you see he traveled again today? He travels so much. I thought they changed the traveling rules.
I mean, it's still going to be... It's hard to get travels, I feel like, in the moment. Because we have to realize they are NBA players, so they're pretty freaking quick. And the game's really fast-paced at that level. But yeah, I mean, there's some obvious times where he's taking like 3 or 4 steps, and they're just not calling anything. But again, it's the NBA. They never really call travels in the NBA. So,
That's true.
It's fine. It happens. But yeah, that was really dumb. If he keeps doing it, good for you. If he started making it cool, but I still think it looks stupid. I don't like it. I prefer he just does his regular step backs. But then again, if other people have any ideas on that, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of it. And then something else that happened actually in those Rocket games that I completely forgot about is going to be a part of this year for the NBA as a trial period thing. Mike D'Antoni did the first ever NBA challenge in a game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
So NBA challenges are a thing this year. They're only going to be a trial period to see how they go, how it works. You only get 1 per game. The way you go about doing it is you have to either call a timeout immediately after a dead ball after the play you want to challenge, and then during that timeout you have to literally twirl your finger at the ref. You have to go like this, which I feel like is going to cause a shit ton of confusion. And they're like, are you challenging?
Yeah, why don't you just say, I challenge that?
Like, are you challenging? Because what if a coach is just like, hey, guys, huddle up. And he goes like this.
Like, or speed up. Yeah.
Like, and then they're like, oh, he challenged. Like, no, I didn't challenge.
That's going to be funny.
It's going to be weird. I can't wait till Popovich does a challenge because it's going to be hilarious. I also can't wait till Mike Malone does a challenge because it's going to be a very aggressive challenge.
Yeah, he'll probably like dislocate his finger.
It's going to be the most aggressive twirl you've ever seen in your fucking life. But yeah, Mike D'Antoni did one. It was pretty funny. He just did one just basically because he wanted to be the first person to do it. And Doc Rivers was like, really? In a preseason game? And they just had like a laugh about it. But it was good that he did it because I completely forgot that that's going to be a part of the NBA season this year.
Gonna be interesting.
We'll see how it goes. I feel like also you can't do it within the last 2 minutes. Like, coaches can't challenge within the last 2 minutes. I think that's like they'll check it themselves, like the NFL, like within the last 2 minutes, like automatic review stuff. But like coaches can't do it. And they only get 1 a game. So it won't like hinder the game too much, but it's interesting to see when it will be used and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like for the most part though, it's gonna be weird for TV because like the coach challenges, usually when they call timeouts, they go immediately to break. So I feel like we'll be in a commercial and then you'll come back and they'll be like, oh, they challenged and we wouldn't even know.
Yeah, we challenged and this happened. So
that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I completely forgot that's a part of this year. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And then I'm also excited to see our preseason game on the 8th. But we still got a ways away till then. And then, like I said, another preseason action. The Pacers played the Kings in India, and a report came out today. Actually, Adam Silver said it himself, that they are considering developing a league in India, not like one I don't think like associated with the NBA. I feel like they just want to make it like how Spain has a league, how China has a league. They want to make one in India for them, but apparently it's still a ways away because the infrastructure there is not ready for basketball, like arenas and things like that. But what do you think about them making a league in India?
I think it's interesting. I honestly, India would be like one of the last places that I would think that they would start a league in, just because, like you said, I don't really know if there's really even space for it at the moment. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's very populated, densely populated.
It could probably be huge there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it would be interesting. It seems like that's like if they had to pick a country, it would be India right now. So
I am surprised they're doing it in India first and not London, because I don't think London has a league. I don't think like
I don't think
England
they
has
do.
a league. I know Spain does. I know Germany does. I know certain teams do, like France does. I don't think England does. So I'm kind of surprised they didn't say there first. But India does make sense because like it is the most populated place in the world.
And they like basketball, I think.
They do like. I mean, everywhere likes basketball. But if you get more people there to like basketball, you could very well take over being one of the biggest sports in the world, which they're only really behind soccer for the most part. As football, American football is not big internationally, and hockey is big internationally, but only in places where it's cold.
Yeah, true.
And then rugby is important, but it's not important here. So, yeah. So I'm not shocked that they want to do it there. There's only ever been one or two players in the NBA from India in the NBA's whole lifespan. And those were pretty recently, so I think they're just trying to grow it as much as they possibly can. And yeah, it'd be cool if they do, but it's still like Silver said, like 5 to 7 something years.
Yeah, that's gonna take a while to materialize
because they just don't have the infrastructure as of right now, which I assume because they just have like soccer stadiums or cricket stadiums or whatever else they play. I'm not trying to be offensive. I think they play cricket.
Yeah, they definitely play cricket. I think they might play rugby too.
I don't know, but yeah, so. That came out today. I think it's interesting. It's cool to see if it ever comes to fruition. It won't be associated with the NBA. It's just going to be a league independently in India that the NBA helps run. Like kind of like Basketball on Borders, like that program that they have. But more for a league type standard instead of like a training camp. But yeah, so there was that for the most part. And now we'll get into one of the bigger articles that came out actually today. So Zach Lowe, a very well-respected analyst on ESPN, one who I actually like very much. He's a very big Nuggets fan. He loves Nikola Jokic. He was on the Nikola bandwagon before anyone else. I'll give him credit for that. He's actually really good at figuring out random players who are going to be like freaking amazing. He released an article for NBA's 30 teams rated from top title contenders to bottom feeders.
I saw this, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through the list, see what you think about it. We're going to go from bottom to top. We're not actually going to go from top to bottom because it's not interesting if we do it that way.
I will pull this up.
So we're going to go. I have it here. So we're going to go to the very bottom. We have the rest. This is his category basically for teams that have no chance, are going to be in the lottery, are basically tanking for the most part. In this category, he had the Knicks, the Hawks, the Cavaliers, the Wizards, the Suns, the Grizzlies, and the Hornets. What do you think about that for basically the teams that are either tanking or just not good enough to actually compete for anything?
I mean, I agree with it. I think these are the worst, 7 worst teams in the NBA probably. I think the Hawks are probably the best team in this group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all of them seem to me like a well below 500 teams. So, yeah, but
I don't think the Hawks deserve to be in this category.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
I think the Hawks should be in the next category, which is, not Netherworld of the West, but basically contending for at least a playoff spot in the East, borderline playoff team. I feel like they're in between that area, borderline playoff team and team that's. They're kind of like in no man's land. But
yeah, in the East, I can see them contending for a playoff spot.
I think they could contend for the 8th seed. Now, that does depend. Yes, they are very young. They're basically like a weird older version of us, but younger, but in the East. It's a very young team. I think their oldest player is Vince Carter, who they still have. So that really changes their average age. But if you take him out, I feel like their average age is like 25. Because of him, it's like near probably like 30. But yeah, I think they're a good team. So I don't think they deserve to be in there. But other teams in there, I do agree with, especially the Suns and the Wizards and the Hornets. I think those will, actually, I won't include the Knicks. I think the Suns, Wizards, and Hornets are going to compete for the 3 worst teams this year, mainly because the Wizards are probably going to trade Beal or Wall or something
to the Nuggets. Maybe
no, I don't want that.
Probably not going to happen.
He wants that. Zach Lowe wants that a lot. He fucking tweets it every day. And then we have the next category which basically is the Netherworld of the West. This is basically no man's land for the West teams. In this, he has the Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're not good teams, but they're not bad teams, but there's no way in hell they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no way they're making the playoffs. They're not bad teams. Only Oklahoma City I would put in this category for now. If they trade CP3, which I'm assuming they will go also into the rest category on his tier list, because then they won't be a good team. Even though I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he's great. They have Gallo, our old buddy, but I just think once you trade CP3, this team can't really contend and will probably start tanking for real. Mm-hmm. The Timberwolves, they're just in no man's land. They have Cat, they have Wiggins, that's it. Nothing else. Wiggins came out like the other day saying like, I felt like my development was going well for really 3 years. Then they traded for Jimmy Butler and it went to shit. He didn't say that specifically, but he said then they made changes and it went downhill. So he basically took shots at Jimmy Butler. I don't like Andrew Wiggins. I don't think he's I think he's an okay player. I don't ever think he'll be an all-star.
I think this is as good as he's ever going to be. Yeah,
so I just don't see it ever getting better for them over there. I think they're kind of stuck in no man's land. Now, this is a category where this is two teams where I said earlier in the podcast I could see them trading with each other for the CP3 situation, because they do need a point guard. If they get CP3, then we can talk about Minnesota possibly making the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, no, I agree with them in this section. Then we have basically borderline playoff teams, which I think is funny. There's a couple teams in this list that I don't agree with to be borderline playoff teams, but we'll just go through it. We have the Pacers, the Raptors, the Pistons, the Bulls, the Warriors, the Trailblazers, the Mavericks, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Kings. There's a lot, actually, I don't agree with this list.
Yeah.
You can go with yours first. What do you
let's start out right off the bat. The Warriors and the Blazers are more than likely going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know why they're
in here. In the East, I could see the Pacers and the Raptors making the playoffs.
They're going to make it.
Yeah.
The East is terrible.
I really think like the teams that belong in this list are who are borderline playoff teams would be the Pistons. I guess the Bulls in the East.
I don't know why the Bulls are in this. Why are the Bulls in this?
You think they should be lower?
The Bulls should be in like no man's land of the East. They're not going to be good. They have Kobe White is a great player from UNC, but who knows how he'll do transition NBA. They have Zach LaVine,
and that's it.
They have Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I don't get it though.
They're not gonna make the playoffs. Spurs could, Mavericks could, Pelican. Well, in the West, they probably won't. But I don't know. There's the main ones: Warriors, Blazers, Pacers, Raptors.
I think Trailblazers should be way higher. I have no clue why they're borderline playoff team. They always get disrespected every single year.
They're getting really disrespected,
and they always get either the third or the fourth seed. And I'm a person who's in their division, so obviously we don't have to like them, but I will give them that respect. They've been the most consistent playoff team basically in the West for other than the Warriors.
They have like what top? I want to say top 3 backcourt probably.
They probably have the top 1 right now with Clay out.
Harden, Russ.
No. We don't know how that works.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they have a great backcourt. And then the Warriors still have Draymond and Steph Curry. And
they still have a team that won players who won the 7-3 games that year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Clay will be out for most of it, but
Pelicans probably won't make the playoffs in the West. But
I can see them be borderline. They have talent.
Yeah, exactly. So I just those 4 is the ones I really disagree with. Bulls
maybe because the East is bad. It's possible, but I still don't.
Weren't they pretty close to making it last year?
Probably. The East was terrible. I could probably look that up right now. They were absolutely god awful last year, but I mean the East was not like them.
No, they weren't close.
They weren't close. Okay, well there you go. So no, I don't get why they're in this category. But anyways, we'll move on to the next one. All right, now what we have is strongest playoff team / the East stinks again, which I think is a funny title because it's true, because the East is basically terrible again. But in this category, they have the Celtics, the Heat, the Nets, and the Magic. Yeah, I agree with this.
Yeah, these are playoff teams that aren't going to make the finals.
Yeah, they're like good East teams. I do actually think the Magic are going to surprise a lot of people this year. They made a lot of good moves.
They did. Feels like they always do, though.
No, but this time I feel like it's going to be a really good team. Like, they made a lot of defensively focused moves, I feel like. So.
I think they're like a lock to make the playoffs, you'd think.
Yeah, I feel like they'll be low playoff seeds.
New look Celtics will be good enough.
Heat will be good because they have Jimmy Butler.
And the Nets are just waiting for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Nets are waiting for Kevin Durant, but Kyrie's good enough, and that team's good enough to make the playoffs as they did make it last year. And if they don't, Jesus Christ, Kyrie Irving, what are you doing? And then we get to us.
Who the only team in this category.
Only team in this category, which I think is really funny, but I get it at the same time. I don't agree with it, but I get it. We're in the prove it category. He said the Denver Nuggets are in the prove it category because even though he loves Nikola Jokic, he even said that he was always over him, and he thinks Nikola Jokic could actually be one of the top assist man this year, if not the leader for assists, which I thought was pretty cool. And he also said he loves Malik Beasley, but he could see maybe like regression there. But he said mainly this reason he didn't put us in the next category, which is title contenders, is because we're still too young. And he doesn't know how Jamal Murray will be this year, and he doesn't know what MPJ will be this year. So what do you think about it?
I agree with it with one caveat.
What caveat?
We'll get there. Let's move on.
I mean, maybe we'll get it. I mean,
No. We'll get to my caveat once we get to the next list.
All right. Well, I'll just go into what I think about it. I think, yeah, he has good points, stuff like this. I believe in Jamal because he got a freaking huge contract that he's going to improve this year a lot. I also believe that we'll get into the news later. Malik Beasley will also be trying very hard to play very well this season for a specific reason we will get into later. Mm-hmm. So I don't see him regressing at all. The only thing that I know why he probably put us in here is because our small forward position, who the fuck knows what's going on there, and also who knows what MPJ is going to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks, so I get why we're here.
But I don't agree with it.
I don't either. We'll get to it.
All right. Next category is the last category. Had the first category where most teams in here make sense. I think we have the same disagreement. Top title contenders. He has the Clippers, the Lakers, the Bucks, the 76ers, the Jazz, and then provisional status, the Houston Rockets, which I think is funny. What do you think about?
If the Nuggets need to prove it, how on earth are the Jazz title contenders?
They
have done nothing to, I'm doing air quotes, prove it.
I don't know.
That is complete bullcrap.
It makes no sense to me either. As most people know, I am way more scared, and I think that, I shouldn't say scared. I think that the Trailblazers are a way better team than the Jazz. I know most people will not agree with me with that because of the acquisitions that the Jazz made this summer, which they did make really good acquisitions through free agency and trade. But I think Portland will be a better team at the end of the season than the Jazz. And I just think that's how that's going to go. I also think the Jazz should be in the prove it category with us, mainly because they didn't even win a fucking playoff series last year.
And they added Mike Conley, great ad. That's helpful, but we're acting like Conley's a superstar and he's a good player. But
Conley's very good. My thing with it is, how is it going to mesh with Donovan Mitchell? I think Donovan Mitchell is a very ball-heavy person. He needs the ball in his hands. I don't think it's going to mesh well. That's my personal opinion. Anyone can have their own. If you're a Utah fan, obviously you're not going to agree with mine. But that's my personal opinion on that matter. Now, that is something where I'm like, okay, top title contenders, I think they should be improve it. I also think the Rockets should be improve it.
They should.
And he basically said it, they should be improve it because he put provisional status. I don't know why he didn't just put them in the prove it category.
Rockets should be prove it. Nuggets and Jazz should be prove it. If any of these teams are prove it, then they should also be prove it. Like the Bucks, sure, because the East is pretty open and they could definitely make the finals, and the NBA, frankly, is pretty wide open. Clippers and Lakers are looking like the two best teams in the NBA right now.
On paper, yes.
Sixers, I will say sure, because they almost made the finals.
The Sixers would have made the finals and probably won it last year if they didn't lose to Kawhi Leonard. So yeah. I think it's okay that they're
okay that they're there. They proved that they are a better team than the Nuggets.
Yeah, they are. And it's not because of the Nikola Jokic Joel Embiid thing. It's because they have Ben Simmons, who is better than Jamal Murray, which is unfortunate because Ben Simmons doesn't shoot, but it's fine.
It's okay. But yeah, I just disagree with the Jazz and the Rockets.
Yeah, I think they should be in the prove it category. I think they're good teams.
They are great teams.
I don't think they should be there. Mainly Rockets, I think, should be in prove it just because of the Westbrook Harden situation. We don't know what's going on.
That's a big change. Those are ball dominant players, and then the Jazz and the Nuggets, they're
both in the prove it
stage. Yeah. They're both young teams. Like, it's stupid that they're not.
I just think it's weird.
But
yeah, that's it for mostly that. We went through that. I think those are our disagreements on it. I would love to hear what other people who are listening to this have to say about that, their ideas about his list. But those are our thoughts on it. I would think for basically the most part of top title contenders, we both agree that the Clippers deserve to be at the top. So, right, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think Clippers deserve to be the top, probably then the Lakers. We don't know much about how either of those teams are going to look, but they're teams with two top 10 players on their teams, so they'll be good.
All right, and then that's that. And now we finally got a whole fucking ton of Nuggets news to get into. So let's get into this. This is going to take a while because we did a podcast in between Media Day and training camp. So we got a lot of things to talk about. Thankfully, I have it all on the Instagram for us to look at. So let me get over there because there was a lot of interview questions, things like that. We'll get into mainly the first thing that came up today, just because it is big news. Malik Beasley, we offered him a 3-year, $30 million contract extension. He declined it. He actually did this before. He switched over to Clutch Sports. He switched over to Clutch Sports after this happened. But what do you think about him declining it? What are your thoughts about all that?
I get it. Malik Beasley kind of shown to be like one of a pretty good young player in the league. It's just kind of a crowded room right now for the Nuggets, and so like I think they know they can't afford to keep everybody, and I don't think the contract was unfair, but Malik can definitely make more than that, so I understand it.
Yeah, I think Malik can make way more than that. I expected this. I've said this on the podcast many of times. I always thought that I didn't even think that we were going to be able to offer him a contract. I knew we weren't going to come to an agreement before the deadline later this month. I was never shocked that didn't happen. I think it's going to be exactly what I said. We'll get into free agency, see how he did on the season, give him a qualifying offer to make him a restricting free agent, see what his value is on the market. If it's worth it, depending on how he played the year, match it. If it's not,
let him walk.
We have to part ways with him, sadly. I really hope we don't because I love Malik Beasley a lot. I think he's a great player. I would rather not get rid of him.
And he fits pretty well on this team.
He fits well on this team. He matches well. He's like best friends with Jamal Murray. I'd rather not get rid of him, but if the price tag is too high, I have no choice than to basically get rid of him at this point, I would say. But yeah, that's it for the most part for that. The Clutch Sports aspect doesn't really come into it because, like I said, he signed with them after we apparently offered this deal. I'm not surprised he switched over to Clutch Sports now because he obviously believes in himself very much, which is good. And even though, what's his name? His friend, LeBron's friend that runs it, Rich Paul. Even though Rich Paul, he can collude. It happens. I don't think that's where this is coming and why he went over there. I don't think this means he goes to the Lakers. I think Malik Beasley knows that Rich Paul is very good at tricking GMs to give his clients way more money than they deserve, i.e. Tristan Thompson, i.e. J.R. Smith, i.e. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Those guys all got very much overpaid, way more than they were actually worth. And I think Malik's actually a good player, so he just wants a lot of money. I'm not surprised he went over to Clutch Sports. So, yeah, that happened there. But now we just have a lot of interview questions, things that happened during Media Day that we should get into. One is Nikola was asked on the potential of winning the MVP award this season. He actually said, if I could choose, I'd rather choose a championship. And this is actually mantra basically for our whole team. If you ask anyone on the team, basically everyone's talking about a championship. Gary said, why not us? And it seems pretty open this year. We could definitely do it. Obviously, there's good teams, but he thinks that he believes in it. Malik Beasley said everyone on the team kind of has a killer instinct. They know people are going to be gunning for us this year, but everyone in the locker room basically believes they can win a championship. And then the same thing came from Mike Malone. He said all they talk about in the locker room is a championship. He actually showed them a clip of Portland celebrating on our home court in Game 7, which Jamal Murray basically said, we know we could have won that game, we should have won that game, and we were only one game away from the conference finals, so why not talk about championship? And that's basically the same mantra that Malone had. So what do you think about the championship aspirations?
I love it so much. This team is motivated. They have a chip on their shoulder. I think that's what you need. They cannot afford to be complacent this year. Because people know that we're a good team now. They're not gonna sleep on us or whatever. And they're still but at the same time, this team is still getting doubted, and I feel like our guys don't like that, and it's time to shut everybody up,
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's good that we talk about championship. It makes sense at this point. Like they said, we were only one game away from the conference finals. We would have probably got wrecked in that conference finals, to be honest. The Warriors would have killed us. But we were only one game away. We should get better, like I said, based on the age of our players, if they actually develop like they should. And even though, like Malone said, yeah, it's a lofty goal, but I want our guys to have that championship mentality. And it sounds like basically all of them do. It sounds like all of them are basically ready to win the NBA, like ready to think they can win the NBA championship.
Ready to pursue it.
Because last year, Jamal said this, their goal mainly was just to make playoffs. They didn't have really championship aspirations. And most of the team basically said that because obviously the Warriors were a thing. No one really thought they were going to win a title, except for maybe the Raptors and like the East teams that could compete. But no one in the West really thought they could beat the Warriors if they were at full health. So that's why they didn't have it last year. So that's why they have it this year. And I think it's really cool. I do think that we should have those aspirations, and it makes a lot of sense for us. So I'm not surprised we're talking about that. And now we can get into some of the other interesting tidbits from Media Day. One that I thought was really funny was from our new boy, Jeremy Grant, taking a shot at the Oklahoma City Thunder. I love this quote. I think this is the best quote. They asked him about what he thinks about being on the Nuggets and things like that, and he basically said, I'll summarize it. He said, I'm pretty happy I got traded. It's better to get off. Like, they traded away some key pieces in Oklahoma City. I'm happy to get off a sinking ship. What do you think about him taking a shot?
How can you blame him? That team got gutted. Why would he want to stay?
I thought it was so funny.
It's not like he asked to be traded, too.
No, it didn't. We did save him. I think he's super ecstatic about being in Denver because he doesn't have to be in Oklahoma City, which is not as nice as Denver. Yeah, I'm taking shots at Oklahoma City. I don't care.
If you've been to Denver and you've been to Oklahoma City and you think Oklahoma City's better, then you're biased.
All right. So, I mean, we're also biased. So
I've been to Oklahoma City.
All right, fair. You have your mom's stuff. So, okay, makes sense. But yeah, he's basically happy to be here. I did like that he took a little dig at Oklahoma City. I thought it was funny. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
RIP Oklahoma City. We're not going to have a moment of silence.
No, we're not.
And then we can get into some things about Jamal, because there was some things to talk about Jamal. Mike Malone talked about Jamal Murray and what basically his offseason was like after he got the contract. He said, I think he made a conscious effort to change his offseason regimen. With us giving him that contract, we're showing him a great commitment. He's got to show us the same type of commitment. He's ready for that. He's aware of that. He's not going to run from it. And then Jamal on that said, for me as a fighter, as a mental guy, this is not the end for me. I want to do more. I want to be better, be more consistent, be better defensively. There's a lot of things I got to improve on, even though this is a great deal for me. So he basically is saying, even though I got the contract, I'm not going to stop being a great player for this team and trying to improve. He even went on to say, little things are not my job is to go out there, lead the team on and off the court, vocal or not, talk to them, pull them aside, tell them what I'm seeing, just have a conversation. So he's seeming like he wants to be a better defender, more consistent, and also more of a leader this year. So what are you thinking of everything you're hearing from Jamal Murray and Mike Malone on Jamal Murray?
It's exactly what I want to hear. He needs to play like he's worth that contract. And like, if we're being realistic, last year he didn't play like a guy who deserves that contract, but he's on the trajectory to play like that. So if he just gets better and better, then he'll play his way into deserving that contract. I like the attitude. I like the focus. Now just go out and do it.
Yeah. I like everything I'm hearing from him. Obviously, it's wait till we see it, basically. I do think he did come in bigger this year, not as in fat. I think he gained even more muscle than he did last year, which is good to see. Obviously, they said he changed his off-season regimen. I think he was more focused. He worked out more. He cleaned up his diet a little bit, apparently. So all of these things are good to hear, and he basically trained every day. He even went to the Kobe Bryant thing. He was the standout there, things like that. So I think he's trying really hard to prove that he's worth that contract, because there are people who doubt him and don't think that he's worth that contract. I am not skeptical, but it is a very big contract. I do think he will prove to be worth it, but the main issue with him, and we all know what it is his consistency. Mm-hmm. Is will he show up when he's playing Terry Rozier? Or will he only show up like when he's playing Kyrie Irving or Russell Westbrook? I need him to show up against the point guards that don't matter. If he's playing like a Kobe White, is he going to show up the same way?
He needs to be significantly better than the players that he's better than.
Yeah. Like, if you're a better point guard, I want you to win that matchup all the time. I want him just to be consistent. I want him to be a better shooter this year. Not that he was a bad shooter this year, but it's more consistent.
He can be better.
He can be better. Even at the free throw line, he had an off year. He knows that. He's talked about that. I don't know why he had an off year. He got hot going into the playoffs. He didn't miss the free throw for like basically a round and a half. So he got good going into the playoffs. Hopefully he's consistent again coming into the season. He did have like a weird flux going into the season and things like that, but for the most part, he was better.
I think a key for him is to get off to a good start this year. He always kind of starts out cold. I'm starting to notice, but it feels like let's hope that he's made some adjustments. It sounds like he has.
Yeah,
so.
I think him changing his offseason regimen and actually focusing way more, and also I think a lot of it had to do with the fact he is from Toronto. He saw Toronto win the championship in person. If seeing your home team win the Larry O'Brien trophy doesn't get you motivated and going, I don't know what else will. So I think he's going to come in pretty strong this year. But obviously, we'll see. It's time. Only time will tell. And then on to our next question that Zach Lowe had about our team, and the biggest question that we've all had. And God, I can't wait to see him play. I'm so excited. MPJ finally is practicing. We can see clips. He's playing. He's dunking. He should be in the slam dunk contest. I'm going to say right now, I think he could do it.
Bounce.
He's got bounce. He does windmills all the time. This guy could be in the slam dunk contest. I think he should do it, but we'll see how that goes. That's just my opinion there. But for just things on MPJ, he talked about playing with Jokic, and he said a couple of days ago, me and Jokic got to be on the same team in scrimmage, and it was just so easy. All I had to do was run and cut, and I get the ball for a wide open shot. Even when you're coming off the screen, he's so big that your guy's going to get stuck behind him, basically calling Jokic fat. You'll have a wide open pull-up, so it's cool playing with him. And Jokic basically said to him, wherever you are, you're cutting, just look at me, I'll try to find you. So they already have a very good chemistry together, and these are good things to hear. And what I'm hearing from basically about MPJ, Mike Malone talked about him, is he's going to do some things this year that make your hair and beard get a little grayer, but that's part of it. He's a talented player, but I'm going to help him become the best player he can be. So this is actually some of the first bad stuff we kind of heard about him, where he, not like bad stuff, but him saying that it's not just going to be he's coming in and he's going to be amazing. Mike Malone also has said that sometimes he does things where you're like, this guy can be the best player on the team, and then there's times where he looks lost.
Where he's rookie.
Yeah,
exactly.
So he's a rookie. So it's fine to hear, but I actually like that we're actually hearing some kind of negative things and not all positives, because now it sounds less biased. But yeah, what do you think about MPJ and us finally getting a possibility to see him? Hopefully. I'm knocking on wood right fucking now.
I'm so excited. I am really hyped about him. I'm hyped on his potential. He has to put the work in, but again, he's saying he's also seems like he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders, and he knows what, and he's like, he knows what his role is going to be. He knows what he needs to do, and he's going to work on improving. And I like that he mentioned that he rookie of the year is something he will be going for, but he's also not going to go for it at the expense of the team or his role.
Yeah,
which won't be very big. At least initially.
We'll see. That's something we'll also talk about.
Are you talking about Malone saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So we'll talk about that too. So yeah, his role, he'll stick in his role, whatever that is, but I'm just excited to finally see him play.
Yeah.
I like that he already has a good connection with Jokic, which I feel like it's not hard to get for any player on our team really, because Jokic is just amazing. But
he's got a pure jump shot, and that's a great start. And he's got the body of Kevin Durant.
It's looking so far,
bigger.
at least from practice and training camps, from what I'm hearing so far, the best three shooters that we've had at training camp are Malik Beasley is the best, MPJ, and Juancho. Those are the top three so far in training camp.
Yeah. Which
is good to hear. And I like that Malik Beasley is still consistent with his three-point shot, because I do think Malik Beasley was one of our better three-point shooters last year. Even though Monte was also really good, but I don't think I don't know why he's not in the top for this year. Maybe the other guys are just really good. But yeah, I'm just excited to see him play, excited to see what he can do, bring to the team, things like that. And then on to like a little bit stuff with Jeremy before we get into the other topic that I want to talk about. Will Barton and Monte Morris talked about Jeremy Grant and how he would fit. They said he's going to fit excellently. They've already played pickup games with him. Monte Morris is like, I throw more lobs to Jeremy Grant than I ever threw to anyone this summer, basically. So they're going to have a good connection coming off the bench, so that's good. And Will Barton said he's going to fit in well because of how versatile he is and things like that. So that's good.
That's cool.
But now the thing that we did want to talk about that you kind of hinted towards, and we kind of hinted towards in the last conversation with MPJ, Mike Malone actually came out and shocked the hell out of me because I didn't expect this to happen. I have no clue if this has to do with Will Barnes' hamstring injury that occurred during training camp or what. But he said that the small forward position is actually going to be an open competition, and it's going to be decided in preseason. I am shocked.
That means so it's going to be between...
It's between 4 people.
Barton, Craig, MPJ, and Juancho?
Yeah. Juancho is apparently doing very well in this training camp, so he's actually in conversation for starting. He's actually killing it for some reason. Not like a good reason. I'm not upset about it, but I'm just shocked by that as well. There's a lot of things that are shocking me so far.
I mean, he's a young guy. He's bound to develop a little bit, so...
And he's a world champion.
He's got a gold medal.
So, yeah, it's going to be between them. I don't know who's going to win it. That makes preseason even more entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be exciting. I don't think Will Barnes is actually the favorite right now. Also, his hamstring injury doesn't really help him with that case. He's actually really frustrated about that. Like, he's not able to practice as much and things like that. He might not even play the first preseason game because of that injury. But I think the favorite right now is Torrey Craig, because of his defensive ability, and also apparently Torrey Craig did improve his jump shot. So, but what do you think? Who do you think is going to win it?
See, like that with Will Barton's injury and hearing Malone say that, I'm not totally sure. I want to say if Will Barton's not ready to start the season, it will be Torrey Craig, and then Will Barton will kind of also have it, unless Juancho or MPJ just take it. I think it's more likely MPJ just, like, if someone's going to just take it, it'll be MPJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think once the dust settles with this competition, the Nuggets need to start exploring making some moves, because we have a lot of guys on this team and a lot of guys who are up for contracts. Do you want to lose all of them for nothing? So
if Will Barton doesn't make it, and we've harped on this a lot, and I'm sorry for the people who do actually like Will Barton. I don't hate Will Barton. I just don't think he fits right now on the team, especially if this happens. If he doesn't get on the starting lineup, there's no reason why we should have him on our bench, especially if Juancho is actually good, and especially if MPJ is actually good. It makes no sense. It's too much money to pay for a guy who's coming off the bench, who's competing for minutes with 3 other young prospecting guys, and we have to consider extending Juancho maybe at this point now, too.
Also exploring retaining Malik too, and down the line. Like, Will Barton's time on this team has to be coming to an end. Either way, even if he does start, I just don't like. Hopefully, someone shows that they are good enough to start. I think we all know who I would like it to be. I think everybody would like it to be MPJ, but yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I am shocked that he said that. I really didn't. I thought Malone was going to be stubborn about it. I thought he was going to stick with Will Barton. I'm very impressed with Malone for actually making it an open competition, and I'm excited to watch preseason games even more now because of that.
Tuesday cannot come soon enough.
Yeah, seriously. And now we'll just get into some main takeaways that they've posted about our training camp and things like that. They've posted one for each day that we've done, so we'll get into a little bit of the news from each one of those. So takeaways from day one were basically everyone on our team knows, and they talked about a lot in practice. Malone harped on it. Everyone knows about it. We're not going to surprise people this year. We're going to be hunted, basically, is what they said. People are going to be gunning for us. People are going to actually take us very seriously. We're not going to surprise anybody with like the start we had last year. We have to try hard every single game. So that's something that's said. You have anything to add on that knowing that we're not going to shock basically anyone now that people know we're good?
Know that you're good and play like it.
Yeah, I think that's
There's no excuses anymore. You're a young team. You're going to make mistakes, but you're people are going to take you seriously for a reason. So,
and you have to start off well. You can't lagging in the season. It's too deep of a west to try to lose games in a row. You can't do it,
and you can't afford to lose teams you can't lose to.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to take everything seriously. The other thing from the first day was basically Malone was just talking about everything that happened with the summer. Because Jokic and Juancho did play in the World Cup. They asked him about whether they're going to rest those guys during preseason games and things like that. And same thing with Millsap just because of his age. Malone did say there will be potential for resting Jokic the first game and a couple of games in preseason.
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
He probably will be a little bit tired because he did that. Same thing with Juancho because he also went pretty far in that tournament all the way. So those guys will probably get rest. And then the same thing with Millsap just because of his age. There's no
Yeah.
really need for him to play a ton of minutes in preseason. He's still going to play like a little bit, but he'll probably get a lot of rest as well. So just something to know of. And that's basically it for mainly the first takeaways from the first day. Takeaways from day 2 were basically, let's get into that. Takeaways from day 2 were Juancho, like we talked about. Juancho's killing it in preseason. He's apparently shooting really well. He's playing at a really high level. His body is apparently in the best shape it's ever been. Jokic is really pumped about it because they're basically like brothers. I don't know what's going to happen with that. We shall see what happens with that.
We have a lot of wings.
I don't know. I'm so shocked by Juancho being amazing. I don't even know what to do on it. There was that. And then the second takeaway from training camp that's important for the second day was the main things we're focusing on this year are ball movement, trying to make it even more, spreading the ball, more movement, more off-ball movement, just trying to make it so our offense is at least predictable as possible, and also just like it's similar to the Warriors' offense as possible. We're not trying to hold the ball as much as we can, which I'm assuming means less giving it to Jokic in the post and just running the same type of play. So I'm assuming there'll be more ball movement. And if you saw on the Nuggets Instagram or Facebook, they did post a video where there was a shit ton of passes and then MPJ got a shot up. So I'm assuming they're actually really taking this on.
And he drained it.
And he did drain it. And there was someone in his face still. That's amazing. I love that guy so much. And then the other thing is obviously interior defense. And this really focuses on what we said with Plumlee getting better defensively, being a rim protector, and then also Jokic just trying to get better defensively, which we'll get into next week as he's part of the topic for next week for the players that we have. But that's it for the most part. What do you think of us focusing on those two things? Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just ready. It's time.
Same. And then day 3 takeaways was the small forward battle going on, and that's where I said Torrey Craig is in the lead for that. And then, like you said, the underdog is like mentality still with the team. Everyone still thinks that we're considered an underdog. Everyone still has a chip on the shoulder, so that's nice to have. But the main thing that's a takeaway from this day is they talked about Gary Harris. They talked about his injury-plagued season. Mike Malone went into it. He said Gary was very frustrated because of the injuries he had last year. He knew he had to come into camp not only in great shape, but lighter to lessen the load on his body and muscles. But Gary is a natural athlete. He's strong, he's physical, and he can play as close to 82 games as possible, and we think he will be able to do that. They also said he's moving faster, and he's looking really good. So Gary also changed his regimen to make sure he doesn't get injured as much, because for some reason he kept getting leg injuries last year. We don't know why. No one does, but he did. What do you think about Gary also? Basically, really everyone just taking this year so seriously.
I mean, again, I love it. I actually kind of have chills just thinking about what could happen this season. Not even the championship, just seeing all these guys play with this kind of intensity and chip on their shoulder. It's kind of like they're kind of like maturing. Like they're not young idiots. They're realizing what it takes. Yeah. And that's why the playoffs were so important last year. As far as Gary goes, I think his season will pretty much determine what happens with Malik Beasley.
Yeah, if Gary S is good and still good, then
if he's good and healthy, then
it might change things with what we do with Malik. If Malik's better than him, then maybe we have to consider getting rid of Gary, which I would hate to do because I love Gary Harris so much. But
it's a good problem to have. We just have to make the right decision.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes with
Obviously, you'd like to keep both, but that seems unrealistic.
I mean, it depends. Again, if we trade Plumlee or Barton somehow, we can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
If we get rid of Millsap and just take Jeremy somehow to get a really small contract. There's ways to get Malik Beasley and everybody still here, but it just depends on a lot of movement in the offseason.
Best case scenario is, okay, let's be real. We're not getting rid of Plumlee. He's staying unless Bol actually plays this year and is good, which is unlikely.
No, he's going to G League, exactly. I'm sure, for a good while.
So, ideally, what you want is to show that the trio of Craig, Juancho, and MPJ are plenty at the small forward position, and they can dump Will Barton's contract. And then that opens up some money. I think that's what we got to hope for. And it's kind of looking like that. It looks like Will Barton is already kind of becoming the odd man out. Granted, he's hurt, but...
He is hurt, which is sad for him. I know, but it's just unfortunate. It happens. That's the league. That's how it works. It's an unfortunate part of the game. But yeah, that's something that actually was part of key takeaways today was they talked about Will Barnes' health. He's trying really hard to get back on the court, and he's not dealing with it really well. Like, he's really depressed. Like, he's dealing with, like, the team fine. Like, he's still good morale.
He's just, like, frustrated.
He's just frustrated that he's not back because he said, I know when I'm 100% healthy, I'm one of the best players around. So he just wants to get back. So that was the takeaway for today. The other takeaway for today was Malone said, after 4 practices, I love where we're at already. And the main reason he said that is because unlike most teams, like we talked about, we kept our continuity. We didn't really change anything. We just added Jeremy Grant. That's all we did. And we're adding MPJ. That's mainly the only things we're adding to the team from last year. So this kind of, as Malone said, allows us to hit the ground running. You go back to the first year of training camp, which was here in Colorado Springs. It was slow going, but now he said that everyone understands the concepts, everything we're running really well. So it's basically like we're like a month ahead, basically. So that's good to hear that we're basically ready to go, everything like that. I'm excited, like you said, about the season. I can't wait for it to start. I need October 8th now. But now that we got through all of the Nuggets news, sorry about that. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it, you're Nuggets fans, but there was a lot, so just wanted to make sure we got through it all thoroughly. Now we'll get into the topic for this week. Like I said, we're going to focus on one starter, one bench player until the season starts, or at least in 1 week before the season. I guess actually we'll do our like season predictions basically the day our first game is going to be, or like release it the day after. But we'll get into just the players today. We're going to do Jamal Murray and we're going to do Monte Morris. Who do you want to start with first for what they need to improve on for this upcoming year? I know Jamal we kind of touched on, but we can go into it again.
Let's just get Jamal out of the way.
So Jamal Murray, yeah, we'll talk about him. I obviously think the main thing that he has to focus on is defensively. I think it was an embarrassment to have him not be able to guard Derek White. There's no reason for Derek White to look like a superstar in this league like he did in the playoffs last year. That was embarrassing. That shouldn't have happened, and we can't allow us to basically be playing 3v5 on the defensive side because Jokic and Jamal have such a lack of defensive ability. I'm not saying he has to become as good as Gary or Torrey or any of those guys. I just need him to be able to stand in front of someone.
Yep.
That's all I need. Just
Defense.
be able to be in front of someone. Even get good at steals. Learn how to do steals. Be like Jokic. Just get steals. Be like Steph Curry. Get steals. Mm-hmm. Anything. I don't care. Just improve somehow on the defensive side.
Don't get blown by players who are not better.
If he gets blown by Derek White, I'm going to be pissed. I don't want that. I really don't want. That's why I said on one of our previous seasons, that's one of my most anticipated games of the season, just because I want to see that matchup and actually see that Jamal improve defensively against Derek White. Sco buffs, but Jesus Christ, that shouldn't happen. But yeah, that's all I have to say for him. I think he knows that as well, like that he talked about it. He said he has to improve defensively, so he knows it. He's not shying away from it, so I think he will improve on that, but that's what I have to say. What do you think he needs to improve on?
Since you said defense, obviously that's an obvious one. I'm just going to do the other one we've touched on, consistency. You need to be you're a good 3-point shooter, but we all know that you can be way better than you have been. Yeah. So do that. Make the shots you're supposed to make. Don't disappear for games at a time.
I think even with like just the scoring totals in general, be more consistent with those. Mm-hmm. He has way too many pikes and down peaks and stuff like that.
I would really prefer a down night for Jamal to be like 15 points.
Yeah. Like I think the stat line for his shots and point total should be like more of a consistent line instead of like basically a heart rate.
Yep.
So if he can focus on that, that would be nice. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like like we talked about, he knows these things. He's not shying away from it. This contract has really reinvigorated him, and I think his love for basketball and just also the chip kind of on his shoulder again. So I expect him to do it. Obviously, time will tell, but I'm sure you also expect that he will be able to do it, at least to some extent. Mm-hmm. And then since we've talked about him, that's mainly all we have on him. We'll go just into Monte. What do you think Monte Morris can improve on for this upcoming year? He's pretty fucking good overall.
He's like, I'm thinking about it. He's like overall a good,
he's just
solid
good
player.
At everything, kind of.
Dude, I really can't think of anything I need him to improve on. Like, obviously, I would just be better. But like,
the only thing I can think of is actually lead the league in assist turnover ratio. He was doing it for most of last year. He ended up not being the league leader in it. Do it.
All I really want from him is to have a bounce back. He was bad in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bounce back in the playoffs. So that's kind of down the line, but that's all I got.
Yeah, because he's overall just good at everything. He's kind of
he's a
surprising.
good defender, great shooter, great facilitator, good with the ball.
We're gonna lose him. So
we are gonna lose him.
It's gonna be a sad day when Monte Morris goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves because I'm already expecting that to happen. But I can't really think of anything else he's got to improve on. I mean, like obviously he can get better at everything he does, but he's just so overall like kind of average at everything, and like sometimes above average as well. But like I don't know, dude. He's just so solid. He's
an extremely solid player.
He's just locked in. Like he likes to say, he's locked. But yeah, I don't know. I would just want him. Like all I can say is for this year's shoot to actually lead the league in assist turnover ratio. I think he was like second or third, maybe in fourth at the end of the year last year. Like you were first for most of the year. Just do it. Like I think he can genuinely do it.
Probably.
So, other than that, I can't think of anything. Like he's just a solid backup point guard. One of the best backup point guards I think I can say in Denver Nugget history.
Yeah, he's one of the best backup point guards in the league right now.
Yeah, like he's just a good player. I have nothing bad to say about Monte Morris. He's also very good, like leadership wise. He fits well with everyone on the team. He's just good. Very much a steal of that draft. I did not think he was going to be as good as he ended up being. G League really helped improve him. So
yeah, G League, Bull.
Yeah, I mean, before Monte Morris went to G League, he had no jump shot, and now he's one of our best jump shot shooters on the team. And he didn't even work with Mark Price.
No, G League's good unless you work on your game.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say on him. I don't know if you got.
No, we know what he's good at, and that's everything, and we know what he's bad at, and that's pretty much nothing. He's just
solid.
He's a solid player.
He's a solid guy. Like he has some like lacks like defensively because of his size, but like I can't be like grow taller, exactly. Monte Morris.
Honestly, like I think he's as good as you can expect him to be. Like
I guess get stronger. That's all I can say.
Get stronger. That's really the only thing. Don't get bodied by a bigger player as much.
That's all I could think of. Other than that, really, he's just so solid. I love Monte Morris. But I'm so excited for this team to start playing finally. I cannot wait for October 8th. It's going to be a wonderful, glorious day because we can actually watch the game on ESPN. Still no update on altitude. It's very frustrating. Actually, someone, I forgot his name. I am so sorry. Someone left a comment on our video last time. He said if you want to, there is a way where you could get a VPN. Say you're in a different country or different state so you can watch your the Denver Nuggets on League Pass. That is an opportunity. If you want to, I'm not suggesting it. He suggested it if that's something people want to look into. I don't really know how VPNs and things like that work, but yeah, sure. I mean, that's an opportunity because he's in Serbia, so that's how he said he watches games. So, and shout out to literally all the people in Serbia who listen to this. I still can't believe that. That's amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
We love Jokic. We love that you made that wonderful, wonderful tubby boy. But he looks slightly slimmer, except for that Instagram picture that was posted. He looks really big in that. That was unfortunate. He looks so big in that picture, but it's a funny picture, man. But yeah, that's all we have to say for this week. If you guys liked, make sure to subscribe, comment, let us know some of your opinions about the upcoming season and preseason. Make sure to tell a friend and make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And then, yeah, that's all we got for you guys this week. And we'll talk to you guys next week after a couple of preseason games. And we'll see you then.
Go Nuggets.